Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I share with you everything I know about health and fitness while I work full-time as an ICU nurse. So if you like that kind of stuff, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. And if you're brand new to my channel, welcome. My name is Brittany, and today I'm very excited because I am going to give you all an update on my infertility journey. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're brand new to my channel, I'm going to link my video down below where I talk to you all about my infertility journey. I share with you everything about my past in terms of my hormone imbalances, in terms of trying to get off the birth control pill, and all those things. So go ahead and watch that video. Like I said, I'll link it down below. Maybe before you watch this video, because this video will make more sense if you watch that video. So I want to give you guys an update on what's been going on with me in terms of my infertility journey, in terms of balancing my hormones. There's been quite a few things going on with me the last couple of months, ever since I shared with you the last video. So I have my notes here because I don't want to forget anything, and I have my water too here. I always drink water out of a mason jar when I'm at home and a straw. Just pro tip, if you want to get more water in easier, drink your water out of a straw. For some reason, it's just a lot easier to get your water in if you just sip it through a straw versus just drinking it. So go ahead and try that if you haven't. Okay, so just kind of a recap from the last video. If you guys remember me telling you that I went on the birth control pill when I was 16 years old to get my acne under control. I never had a period before I went on the birth control pill. I just know that my acne was out of control and I was desperate to get it fixed. And I hadn't had my period yet because I was a really late developer. I was a competitive gymnast growing up, and I don't think my body had enough body fat to develop yet until I quit gymnastics as a teenager. And then I started to go through puberty after that, but I hadn't had a period before I went on the birth control pill. So I went on the birth control pill when I was 16 years old. Ever since then, I've been trying to get off the birth control pill. Every time I get off the birth control pill, I'm okay for a few months, and then my cystic acne comes back. Oh, it's horrible, horrible acne. I don't have periods off the birth control pill. I'm really anxious. My body changes. It's crazy. So I've been battling this for a very, very long time. I'm now 34 years old. Over a year ago now, I found a holistic naturopath doctor through a friend who has been my saving grace. She has been the reason why I've been off the birth control pill for now over a year, and I'm hanging in there. I'm doing okay. But my skin is one thing I'm going to update you on today. And then for those of you guys who don't know, I've been to an infertility doctor, and I've been to an endocrinologist and other doctors, and they've all told me that I do need IVF if I want to get pregnant. So I was trying to avoid IVF, so by going to this holistic naturopath, trying to correct my hormones with her from a holistic approach. And so far I am making progress. It's just pretty slow progress, but it is progress, so I'll take it. So, okay, so just to update you guys, I did my infertility journey video around my birthday, so around July 28th when I turned 34 years old, and that marked the 1-year anniversary of me working with my holistic naturopath doctor. So when I did that video, I believe that I told you I had had 2 periods already, which were a miracle in my book because I'd never had a period off the birth control pill. So that's huge progress for me. And then right after I did that video, I had another period. So I had a 3rd period. And then about 2 weeks ago now, I had a 4th period. I've been keeping track of my periods through an app called Kendra, and it's actually been very helpful for me to do that. And so I've noticed that the time in between each period, as each period comes, is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So that's very encouraging for me. So we'll see, you know, about a 5th period when that comes, and if it's going to be on time this time or whether it's going to be late like all the rest of them are. But maybe this next one will be on time. So we'll see, cross your fingers. So from that last video, I'm still on the same supplements. I'm still on the same routine. I'm still eating dairy-free, gluten-free, low sugar, trying to eat as less processed food as possible. I'm just really trying to stick with whole foods, limit alcohol. I'm still off coffee, and limit caffeine too. But with me doing all those things and all the supplements and just trying to do the right thing for my body, my skin is out of control. Out of control. I can't deal with it anymore. I have been my poor husband, I complained to him a lot about my skin, and I was on Accutane 3 years ago. So that's another thing too, is every time I go off the pill, my skin erupts, like I just said, but I end up going on Accutane every single time I go off the birth control pill. I've been on Accutane twice in my 20s. I was preparing myself that my skin was gonna erupt. It is not as bad this time as it's been in the past, but I've been complaining to my husband about it, and he's tired of hearing me complain. And I did not think I could go through more cystic acne again. If any of you have ever gone through the roller coaster of hormonal acne, cystic acne, like the type of acne, not just like the little whitehead acne, but like the deep cyst, like wound acne, like the type of acne I'm talking about is so deep that when you push on your skin, when you push on it, it's like a hard nodule. And I have quite a few of those around my chin. You don't see it right now as much because I have some powder on my face just to look presentable for you guys. But I'm at the point where I'm so uncomfortable every day. And then with the masks at work, for those of you who don't know, I am an ICU nurse. I live in a mask all day long. My skin is on fire. Like, it's so painful right now that when I wear the mask, it rubs on the mask and I have shooting pains like in my ears. Like, it's just so uncomfortable. And of course then, you know, with my confidence level, it really, you wouldn't think so, but for those of you who have been through cystic acne before, it really makes you depressed. Like, I don't know exactly the reason behind the depression, but I think it really just wears on your self-confidence. It's always there. It's like literal wounds on your face you can't hide and you can't cover up and you can't do anything about. Like, my hygiene's on point, of course. Like, the products that I'm using are natural and effective, or they're supposed to be effective. And I go to a couple dermatologists. It's just there. And so you feel really out of control. And I was really hoping this time with working with my naturopath doctor and doing all the things that my skin would be okay this time, but it is not. It is not. It's really bothering me. It's wearing on my quality of life, but I'll get to what I'm doing about that in a second. Okay, so just to back up, I go to a cancer doctor in Seattle for my melanoma that I've had before and my mycosis fungoides. Don't Google mycosis fungoides, by the way. The pictures are terrible. I'm not that far into like the different stages of the MF. We call it MF. I'm only on stage 1 and it should not progress to any other further stages. So it's all under control. If you do Google it, you'll find pictures of people with wounds all over their body. I'm not even close to that. So, but I do go to this cancer doctor in Seattle for skin checks every 3 to 6 months, just to make sure I don't have any more melanoma and to make sure my MF is under control. And so I went to her in August, so probably like a couple weeks after I did that last Infertility Journey video. And she did my skin checks, everything's good, but she was more worried about my cystic acne, my hormonal acne. She was looking at my face and she's like, Brittany, you're so young and beautiful. Like, I'm really worried about you scarring, and I already am scarring. I have old scars from all the times that I've had acne. And she's like, I really recommend that you go on the birth control pill again and Accutane. And I was like, okay, I really can't. I was like, I'm trying to avoid this cycle, this vicious cycle that I've been on for years and years. I want to get pregnant someday. I'm trying to avoid IVF. Like, I'm finally progressing in my hormones, like balancing my hormones. And so she's like, now I understand. She's like, well, think about going on Accutane at least. Like, just think about it. And I was like, okay. Because she knows I've told her everything about my history with my acne. I've literally, you guys, been on every single acne treatment that you can think of. I've been on high-powered like pills. I've been on steroid pills, prednisone. I've been on spironolactone that helps like kind of balance testosterone, but it didn't for me. And I've been on every single cream you can think of. I've been on antibiotics. This same doctor actually prescribed a couple months ago a doxycycline antibiotic for me to start taking, which I've been on before and it didn't work. That didn't work. I've been on everything for acne and nothing works except for Accutane. And the birth control pill, of course. But the birth control pill, of course, that is not an option anymore. I just cannot go there. So I went home that day and I kind of thought about it and I talked about it with my husband. My husband was all for Accutane, all for it. He's like, Brittany, you need to do it. You need to get your life back, you know, and I was like, all right. So I thought about it for a little bit longer, and then a week later I called her and I decided to go on it. So let me address the elephant in the room now. I have decided to go on Accutane and I'm on it. Today is September 17th. I got prescribed Accutane yesterday and I picked up the prescription today and I took the first pill this morning. So here we go. This is day 1 of at least 6 months. Normally Accutane treatment lasts about 6 to 7 months, but it really depends on how much Accutane you're getting into your system. So it is weight based. So depending on your weight, you need a certain amount of milligrams for the duration of the treatment. So for however long that takes, she is starting me off on a low dose just to kind of see how my body reacts to it. And that's what always happens is the doctor always starts me on a low dose of Accutane just to make sure that my body is okay with it, that there's no weird reactions. Accutane is very, very, very powerful, and it's basically a really high dose of vitamin A, if you didn't know, and it's actually very toxic for the body. I was really trying to avoid using it this time, but I really was at a loss of what else to do. And for those of you watching this too, my naturopath did a bunch of testing on me in terms of like food sensitivities, allergies, a bunch of other lab tests to make sure like my environment has been good for me and I'm not allergic to anything in my environment. And I've come back negative on everything and I just am at a loss for what else to do. So anyways, this Accutane is what I'm gonna be on for the next probably 6 to 8 months is normally the duration of Accutane. If you guys want me to do a separate video on Accutane and how it works and just information in general about it, it's pretty interesting. It takes quite a bit of effort to get prescribed Accutane because you cannot get pregnant on Accutane. Like basically if I got pregnant on Accutane, I'd probably have to like abort the baby because Accutane definitely causes birth defects, and I mean serious birth defects. Like an ear grows on the stomach, and like the fetus gets really deformed if the mother's on Accutane. So it takes a while for the Accutane company to approve you to be on it. And so if you want me to do a separate video on that, I can. It's pretty interesting the process behind prescribing Accutane, but the other thing I wanted to tell you guys is that I did get the copper IUD inserted. Now, the reason why I had to do that was so that I can get on Accutane. The Accutane program, in order to get prescribed Accutane, the Accutane program, which is called the iPledge program, requires you to have 2 forms of birth control before you get prescribed it. So the first form of birth control has to be hormonal. It has to be hormonal. The only exception is that if you get the copper IUD, which is non-hormonal. And of course, that's what I opted for. That was my only option. You know, and of course, I'm like thinking to myself, I don't even need this stuff. I can't get pregnant anyways. But of course, the Accutane system and the iPledge program doesn't know that about me, but it's like, whatever. So I got that copper IUD inserted last week, and I'm gonna throw a clip in here and show you guys kind of me talking about it that day. Okay guys, just got back from having my copper IUD placed. It really wasn't that bad, but I will tell you that if you don't need an IUD, I would not do this again. I would not recommend it. It was pretty painful when she put it in. It felt like a really big period cramp, like huge period cramp. And my periods are pretty light. I don't really get much cramping, at least the ones that I've been having without the birth control pill. And so I'm not used to cramping this much, and I'm still cramping after I got it. I'm still cramping right now. Not as bad, it's easing up a little bit, but it was like a huge period cramp when she put it in. And I think I was talking to myself. I think I was saying, okay, just to like, I don't know, help with the pain. I think I was muttering, but anyways, it was pretty fast. It was quick. Thought I'd update you on my copper IUD insertion experience and comment down below if you've had an IUD and what your experience was, because I'm very curious. All right, that's it. Okay, so yeah, that was quite an experience to get that IUD. I don't know if you guys have gotten an IUD before, but I will never get one again. But I'm not cramping anymore. I'm not bleeding anymore. I did spot for about a week after it got inserted, and I did cramp a little bit for about a week, but I'm good now. Apparently, the copper IUD makes your periods heavier, so we'll see what it does with me. The other thing that has happened is that dermatologist that is prescribing me Accutane, my cancer doctor, she also referred me to an endocrinologist in Seattle who specializes in women's health. Even though I go to my naturopath for everything, my naturopath is well versed in endocrinology and women's health, she wanted a second pair of eyes on me, like an actual, medical doctor to look at me who's an endocrinologist. So I did go there. This was end of August, about August 26th or so. I saw this endocrinologist. She was very, very nice. She sat down with me for about a good half an hour, which I was impressed for a medical doctor to spend that much time with me. But she didn't have too much to say about everything. I went through my whole history with her in terms of my hormone issues and being on the birth control, being off of it, being back on it, and all my roller coaster with that. And she basically just wanted all these labs drawn. So I had a slew of women's hormones labs drawn, and cortisol levels, thyroid hormone lab draws. What else did she order for me? Oh, like just kidney function tests, electrolytes. Yeah, she took a lot of blood from me. It's all normal. So that's reassuring, I guess. I kind of wanted something to be abnormal, so maybe I could fix my skin, but it's all normal. If you remember from my last video, I talk about my progesterone levels being critically low. Those are all normal now. So I was pretty encouraged by that. I've never been normal in my progesterone levels. And my DHEA, my testosterone, which have always been low, those are normal now too. So everything's normal, and so I think I am making a lot of progress in my hormone balancing department. It's just that my skin is on the forefront of my worries right now. So having the copper IUD means that I can still work on balancing my hormones, and I can still make progress in that department. The iPledge program and the Accutane program also requires you to have a second form of birth control, which is a barrier. It can be a condom, it can be, there's all like I don't know what other barriers there are. There are many others, I guess, but of course I just chose the condom. So we'll see what happens. I'll definitely document my skin journey for you guys. I mean, you see me on camera with my other videos. I don't cover up my skin very often. I just let it breathe. And I also want to be really real with you guys that this is me, this is who I am. I'm going to insert a picture right here of what my skin's looking like now without any makeup on, so that I can kind of document how it's going and how my Accutane journey is going, and you guys can kind of like follow along with me. Okay, so that pretty much sums it all up. Please let me know though if you want me to do a separate video on Accutane. I just might anyways, because it's pretty interesting and a lot of people don't know about Accutane. Okay, yeah. Accutane, this is what it looks like. I'm on like the generic form of Accutane because it's cheaper, but I just wanted to give you guys like a little glimpse of what the packaging kind of looks like. It's pretty in your face about the whole like don't get pregnant situation. It kind of comes in this punch out thing that you punch out and then you can get the pill, and it reminds you not to get pregnant. It's pretty intense. And then that reminds you again not to get pregnant. I mean, it's all over the packaging. So, it's pretty intense. But my plan moving forward is I'm not ready to do IVF yet, if it's coming down to that. I think I want to work on my hormones a little bit more, but really I'm not financially ready for IVF. I'm looking at $50,000, to do IVF, and I just don't have it yet. I don't have the money, but in 6 months time, 8 months time, my husband and I have a plan. We have a 4-unit apartment building. We are now picking up the renovations on. We're about halfway done with renovating that fourplex. And so once the renovations are done, then we can start kind of cash flowing on those 4 units, and that will pay for IVF. But those renovations aren't going to be completely done for another 6 to 8 months anyways. So if I'm going to go on Accutane, it has to be right now. So I'm just going to jump on it and do it. And then, they tell me that Accutane, it only needs about a month for it to wear off your system, and then you can start trying to get pregnant again. So, I'm getting older. I realize that, I'm 34 years old, but I think I do have some time still. I really was trying to do IVF before I turned 35, but it's looking like that might not happen, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so if you follow me on Instagram, you would have noticed that I've been having lots and lots of doctor's appointments lately, and this is why. It's because of the endocrinology appointments, all the dermatology appointments I need to get prescribed Accutane. And then of course I'm still going to acupuncture to help balance my hormones, and my naturopath doctor. So I felt like the past month and a half, every time I went on my Instagram stories, I was like at a doctor's appointment or had just finished a doctor's appointment. So it was a little rough the past month and a half, and I was really kind of feeling depressed. This was a few weeks ago, and if any of you follow me on Instagram, you probably would remember me telling you that I really was having a rough time emotionally, and that was the week I was trying to figure out, like, am I going to go on Accutane? I really need to, or, is it the right thing for me to do? And then just feeling frustrated and down with still not having a child yet and not being able to get pregnant, and my body being so stubborn. I felt like I was stuck and felt like my body wasn't responding the way I wanted it to. Yeah, it's just been a rough month for me emotionally. What's helping me though a little bit is I have 3 younger sisters. And so my third sister, the second to the youngest, is about to have a baby in about a month now. She's 36 weeks, and I'm very excited to meet my first nephew. So she's having the first kid amongst all of us sisters, so it's really special. And it just gives me some encouragement, since she's obviously my blood relative, my sister, that if she can get pregnant, I can too. So that's been really encouraging, and I can't wait to meet him, my little nephew. I can't wait to see her. And so that's been really helping me. And also I'm so relieved that she's not having any problems. She didn't have any problems getting pregnant. She went off the birth control pill and within a month got pregnant. So I'm very encouraged by that. And I have 2 other sisters who they're not in a place in their life where they can start having kids yet. But I'm encouraged, since one of my sisters is having a baby and she's very healthy with that pregnancy, that my 2 other sisters will be okay too. And I just don't wish this upon anybody. I don't wish this journey upon anybody. It's really hard. It can be really lonely. And so that's why I talk about it. That's why I open up this topic of discussion for you guys to comment if you want to, or DM me. Or there's been so many people reaching out to me and saying that they've gone through similar things and that they have problems or had problems, and never give up, don't give up. And I think it's really important to talk about this subject. It's not talked about enough, and I have had really low, lonely periods regarding all this in my life. And it's hard too, because people who haven't gone through this or don't have problems in this department, they mean well, but they don't understand. Like, most people, before I started talking about my journey, most people just thought I didn't want kids because I have been married to my husband for almost 13 years now. We got married super young. I was 21, now I'm 34. And I think people have just been like, oh, they've been married so long, they must not want kids. And it's like, I let them think that, but at the same time, I really want them to know that my struggles and the journey that I've been on, it's a big thing to go through. I mean, of course, there are worse things to go through, and everybody has their cross to bear. This one's mine, but I just think it's really good to start talking about it and to talk about it. So I hope that these videos, if you haven't watched my infertility journey video, please watch that. And if you haven't gone through anything yourself like this, just know that it's a very real problem. And if you know somebody who's been married a long time, who doesn't have kids, who's childbearing age, and doesn't have kids yet or whatever, or you hear that one of your friends or somebody you know is going through IVF, be kind of careful about the topic around them, because it's a very sensitive topic. So, if you notice somebody hasn't had kids and they've been married a long time, don't assume anything because most likely they're struggling. So yeah, anyways, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the encouragement on my last video. I was just blown away by all the encouraging comments and people sharing their stories and things like that. So I'll definitely keep you updated. I want to do these videos pretty often and update you what's been happening with my hormones. So every month to 2 months I'll do a video. Please comment down below anything you want. It doesn't really have to be related to this video. If you want to suggest future videos, I'm open to suggestions, of course. This channel is all for you guys, so whatever you want to know about health and fitness or whatever else you want to know. It's so funny, my husband bought a brand new truck last week. It's a Toyota Tundra, and I was thinking about doing a truck tour because it's a really cool truck. So I don't know if you guys are interested in that. Like this video if you like it because it helps me in the YouTube algorithms. Share this video if you want to. Comment if you want to. And make sure you hit that little bell notification icon at the corner of your YouTube so you don't miss any future videos with me as I upload. I upload 1 to 2 videos a week depending on my work schedule. And also subscribe if you haven't. And always remember to be kind to yourself.